Hey guys, welcome to this week's list. Just a little heads up, I got a new camera and honestly it's kicking my butt. I'm still learning it and it is having a little bit of trouble focusing. So we're gonna try to get through this. I have the same lighting scheme, but that's not really helping much. But anyway, look, I'll assuage all of your consternation with a Liberty Nickel Mid-State 63 Gold CAC. That doesn't suck. Hard to make coin. 1905 is common date for V nickels. Easily a 64. Probably not a 65 in the grand scheme of things just because it doesn't have quite enough pop, but it certainly has a clean enough cheek and the luster is good enough for a 4+. A little bit of streakiness you can see right there, like sometimes shows up on nickels. Let me just point that out right there. Well, right there, a little bit right there. Coin is still very beautiful. Great looking piece. It is $675 to account for the gold CAC premium, which is alive and well. Next up, probably my favorite coin in the group. This is a 57.0 half dollar, AU53 CACG, just recently graded in the new holder. I think seeded half dollars are, outside of just a few kind of dates that are everywhere, like 77S, 77, they're incredibly undervalued. Especially a coin like this, 57.0. Most seeded half, at least casual observers, will tend to group this coin in with a 58.0 or a 59.0. It is much rarer. I would say it's probably, you'll have to check the stats, but it's probably about 4 times as rare as a 58.0 and maybe 3.5 times as rare as a 59.0. 57.0 is a difficult coin. And this coin is really nice looking for what it is. Light, not dark, great luster, agree with the grade, 53. NGC would probably call it a 5. But this coin is my favorite of the group, and there's a lot more cool coins to come. $775. O mint, half dollar. All right, what's next? All right, another half dollar, 21D. Probably seen that I'm keeping with last week's tradition of, hey, if you need some Christmas presents that are not going to break the bank, then we're going to do that again. I might do it again next week, but then you're getting really close to having some of your family members not be happy with you because they don't have a stocking stuffer. All right, 21D, $550. I think the last one sold in 2010 for $510. This one is just perfect. So key date, a lot easier, and I think almost as fun to collect these in VG and fine as it is in Mint State 65. And you can go look up those numbers. They're pretty brutal. All right, next one up is the most expensive coin of the group. This one recently back from CAC 23S, AU58, properly graded. You see just like that little bit of wear right down the axis. You always hear me talk about this axis. This is a perfect coin to show the high points, especially on a well-struck coin, of where that rub shows up. So don't get fooled by sliders. Right? Sometimes sliders, somebody will dip this coin. This coin is original, but just antique white. They'll try to dip it and they'll try to hide that because the luster is still really good. And the difference between a 58 and a 62 is sizable. At least I think it is. I haven't really looked at the spreads a ton. I think this coin came out of an original roll based on where I got it and the story I heard. It is $4,100. That's, I think gray sheet is 3,600, so about 15% over gray, and just a really, really nice coin, especially if you're looking for a slider set, which a lot of people put together 58 sets. All right, this coin I just got in, and I didn't send it into CAC, so it is, I don't think it has a shot to gold CAC. It's this little grays right here. I can kind of show it. The grays would probably keep it back from being, you know, like a 4+, because this is focal point focal point, focal point, focal point. A little bit of glossiness on that axis since we're looking at another walker here. But you know what? I've seen crazier stuff happen. The coin has a really nice look, not white. It sat in an album. You can see the kind of bluish and amber toning around the peripherals. And great looking coin. So 150 bucks, that's a great stocking stuffer. All right, next up, 3 color coins of Morgan dollars. First is a 78S with lovely blue, orange, and yellow. I haven't sold many toners lately, oftentimes because I just don't buy them. They're very subjective, and you've probably heard, though, when I have sold them in the past, that I have 3 different levels of toning. There is what I call C-level toning, which is at best neutral. Those are coins that usually the toning degrades from the price. Then there's B-level toning, and that's the coin that certainly adds to the price, but not in an astronomical type of number. And then there's A-level toning, which is generally bag toning, like neon greens, neon pinks. This coin is what I consider to be a B+ with a little extra bonus point, because not only does it have really pretty obverse toning, but it's a double-sided toner, and the toning is the same. Most likely this sat in an envelope and took on this toning in both ways, and it is really nice. I think it's pretty reasonably priced too, at 500 bucks. It's just never going to be something that you tire of, that's for sure. And that's the kind of coin, this is the kind of coin that moves at fun. The fun show, somebody comes along looking for toners, and it's gone. She gone. All right, another gold CAC. This one, also a toner. It's got a very sublime look to it. Very clean chic. Little bit of high point. You can see the little just high point like frost breaks. That is not wear, okay? That is high point frost breaks, normal, but it is grade limiting. I don't think this coin is a 5. It has an end roll tone look, but it shouldn't be an end roll toner because it should be white on the obverse if that's the case. But it certainly does have some of those geometric shapes on the reverse. But it's just beautiful. Blues, reds, coming through pretty well on this new camera. And just a great looking piece. 750 bucks. Rattler gold CACs are in high demand. And then the last toner, this one, somebody cracked it out of a GSA, or at least sent it in a GSA to be graded. PCGS cracked it. I don't know how they did it back then. I usually just sell my GSAs. But nice blue and russet and yellow. Nice little rainbow starting there. Didn't finish. Clean chic, a little sparkly. I'd say this is a 65B coin, never a 6. And then the reverse also has color. So clearly this is bag toning, in my opinion. You see a little rainbow there, and it kind of spreads in to something more there. The 84cc is 700. If I didn't mention did I mention the gold CAC price? Anyway, it's 750. This is 700. Everything's kind of in that 500 to 700 range on this commander's list, which is great. Oh, by the way, to the commenter that mentioned about maybe doing a second commander's list with, you know, even kind of more pedestrian type coins that are still fun to collect, I assume that you mean kind of like less than $150. I'm willing to try that, and I'm going to take it for action for next year. So I just want to let you know that your suggestions are heard. I responded to you last week or the week before, I don't remember. But thank you for the comment, and I really do appreciate the attention. All right, last coin. This one just, again, it's really fun to put together an AU58 set, especially the 1908 to 1915 run, because those are the tougher coins. Obviously, the 11D is the big stopper, no matter if you do the entire 15 coin set or if you do just the beginning. But I love coins like this because, man, do you want to talk about just a smidgen? Like, that's the high point right there. You can see that tiny little bit, but all the luster in the fields here. The fields are incredibly clean. Coin is incredibly pleasing. and it doesn't break the bank. It's $750, another $700-ish coin. All right, folks, I think that's it for today. We're coming up on Christmas. I hope you're having a great wind down to the year. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. I usually say that at the end. Most people say it at the beginning. Maybe I need to do that, get some more subscribers. I'd really like to hit 1,000, but for whatever reason, it seems like we're kind of topped out at like 975 or what it is. Tell your friends, tell your parents, even if they don't like coins. I need 1,000 subscribers. So anyway, thank you for the attention, and until next week, happy hunting.